Good morning. Come on in. Come on in. Let's join this today. This is going to be an informative talk today, not necessarily designed for the Saturday morning motivation, but hopefully you'll find it of a lot of use. So I'm just going to try to get this shared out to a few places. It'll take just a second. Here we go. Okay, let's start there. Good morning. Hi, I'm Brad Smith. I am the original CarSmith, and I am glad to be here today. We're going to talk today about the internet, how it has completely changed the automotive business. So come on in. Love to see you in here today. So roughly a little over 10 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, internet came onto the scene and slowly started changing the way that cars are sold. So about 20 years ago, we saw the advent of the very first CRMs. And with that, dealership websites, automotive websites by the OEMs, and CRMs kind of started out from this standpoint, they've never changed. Because we didn't really know what attribution really was, CRMs gave credit to who brought you the lead or who helped you sell the car based on the very first source that brought you that lead. So there has, ever since the internet leads have started coming into dealerships, there's been the constant argument and discussion: is this best handled by our sales staff, by an internet team, or by a BDC, a business development center? Who best is designed to handle that lead? So, and I have seen the birth and the death of a lot of internet teams and BDCs, and sometimes it's just a matter of finding the right people and the right formula to make it work. So a lot of people have asked me, what is best? How's the best way to be able to handle this? And there is no good pat answer. A lot of it depends upon your sales team, your internet team, your sales management team, the franchise you have, and where you're located. So the reason why is, in a lot of cases, metro areas are very internet savvy, and they will receive a lot of leads. Imports will receive a lot more leads than domestics will. And with that, you need to strongly take a look at your team. So in rural areas, frequently it's handled and should be handled by a few key sales staff. I don't find it a good idea to distribute internet leads amongst the entire sales staff. And here's why. Internet leads and being able to get a hold and properly work with an internet lead becomes dependent on how quickly you can respond to your clients. So getting back to a client when an internet lead comes in a timely manner is critically important. The main reason why sales staffs don't necessarily work out is salespeople are not sitting at their desks in front of a computer waiting for a lead to come in, and can therefore respond to that lead in a timely manner. Now, what do I mean by a timely manner? According to J.D. Powers, it becomes critically apparent that internet leads need to be responded to within 5 minutes of lead submission. Internet leads need to be responded to within 5 minutes. Now, I have seen in some dealerships that if an internet lead isn't responded to within 5 minutes, it kicks to another person or to a manager or something else. Well, if you're waiting that entire 5 minutes, that opportunity is already gone. And why is 5 minutes important? 5 minutes is where we start losing the client. 5 minutes is where life now gets in the way. So when an internet lead comes in, a person that just submitted the lead, their mind is on what they just did. Now, sometimes they realize what they did and sometimes they don't. Depends on the lead provider. Sometimes people are absolutely trying to get additional information. And sometimes they were trying to get it off the website, but you got the lead. But still, responding to it in a timely manner becomes critically important because life after 5 minutes gets in the way. Kids need to be taken to school. People need to head to work. Somebody's working in the yard. We're off doing our activities for the weekend. Fixing dinner becomes important. But life starts happening. And after 5 minutes, people's minds are no longer on what they just did. They're on what's in front of them. And what will happen is you go to call that person and they won't answer the phone. And now trying to get them back on the phone later becomes almost impossible. So being able to respond within a 5-minute time window is critically important. Now, whether that's done by a BDC, a sales staff, or an internet team, that now falls upon you. But salespeople, in my opinion, it does not work well because they're not focused on an internet lead. Simply reducing it down to 1 or 2 people within your staff might work well because they know that is part of their job, is to watch for that lead to come in and respond to it in a timely manner. So that can work better if you're in a rural area with a small number of internet leads. That can work well. Sometimes as we get larger, or we get, maybe you're a domestic in a near metro area, internet teams can work well. So internet teams, and how I define that differently, we're still not to a BDC, but that's now multiple salespeople that are going to take that client from start to finish. They'll come in, ask for them, and they'll work to deliver the car. Sometimes what you can do is 1 or 2 people making those phone calls and bringing them in and turning it over to a qualified sales staff that knows how to work that internet lead when it comes in. That can also fall in that same definition. Or we can now talk about BDCs. Maybe you're getting a large volume of leads. You're an import in a rural, in a near metro area, or maybe you've got a full-blown BDC because you're an import in a metro area. I've seen internet teams of 2, 3 people. I've seen internets of 10, 12 people or more. And it totally depends upon the volume of leads that you do as to how big your team should be. Now, according to J.D. Powers, and this has changed every year, but about 2 years ago, the path of a consumer from the time they start submitting internet leads or they start researching on the internet until the day they walk into the dealership and buy a car is about a 90-day window. And I still refer to that because the more recent ones, it's actually a little over 90 days, but it's close enough. It's still easy to refer to it in a 90-day window. So what happens? So consumers are getting on the internet and they're beginning to do research. One of the very first things they want to know is this a good time for me to buy a car? In other words, they're going to go in and they're going to start taking a look at what their financial position is and where they are with the car that they own. So maybe it's in doing some research as to what is my car worth. So that's where sites like KBB come in. And people will, or maybe Edmunds, and they'll be on those internet sites trying to determine what is their car worth. And they'll compare that to what they owe. Am I close enough to where I could end up getting out of my car or not? So if they choose to keep moving forward, we're going to drop down the sales funnel, as it were. And now people will start doing research. They'll look at Car and Driver. They'll look at Road and Track. They'll look at Motor One. They'll look at Consumer Reports. They'll look at the OEM sites. Some cases they'll be on Auto Trader. They'll be on cars.com. They'll be doing research, comparing one vehicle versus another, trying to decide what kind of vehicle is best for my family. Now, is this everybody that I'm talking about? No, because everybody's a little bit different. Everybody researches a little bit different, but this is for by far the majority of the internet shoppers that are out there today. Now, here's the unfortunate part. The unfortunate part is over 80%, and I believe the numbers are now approaching 90% of consumers that are on the internet that are shopping for cars today go to the internet to find information. Now, maybe they looked at your vehicles on your website online. Maybe they've been on one of these third-party research sites, and everybody's in a different position. But depending upon who the customer is, what stage they're in, and where that lead is coming from, you could totally lose a client depending on what stage they're in the sales funnel. Because if you get to talking about the car before they're ready to talk about the car, you can scare that customer away and lose them for good. See, you need to be able to meet a client exactly where he is in that shopping process. One of the very last things that they tend to do is, now I know that it's time for me to buy a car. I know what it is that I want. I know what, or maybe I know I've narrowed it down to a couple different cars. And now it's a question of what is the best deal for me and where should I buy the car at? That's when they go to a lot of different automotive sites like TrueCar, like USAA. There's a lot of auto buying sites that are out there. Maybe they're on your dealership website. But these are very, very, very low funnel clients. They are ready to buy now. Here's the other key part. When they are on the very last site they'll look at, and they submit a lead and you respond within 5 minutes, 50% of the time the consumer will buy from the very first person they talk to on that last lead source. But that number will go from 50% to 85% if that contact is made within 5 minutes. So my question is a couple different fold. One, are you focused in on responding to that ready to buy client in a timely manner? And second, are you ready to approach the client regardless of the position they're in, where they're at in their shopping process? You see, a lot of BDCs that I see, and I see a lot of them in my daily travels during the week, a lot of BDCs jump in to call the lead to get the appointment because that's where their pay plan is focused, and they're not focused on the lead itself. They don't even read the lead. They look at their contact information and they make the call. And if they're not reading the lead, they don't know the consumer and where they're at in that shopping process, and they don't even ask. My friends, you are going, if you don't start training your staff to be able to read the lead and ask important questions, you will lose those clients. So getting a hold of a client, and maybe a discussion might be as simple as, you know, Mr. Client, a lot of the people that I talk to are at different stages in their shopping process. And because of where they're at in their shopping process, they need different information from me. So let me ask you a couple questions. Where are you? What are you trying to do? What is your goal right now, and how can I best serve you? When was the last time anybody on your staff asked the client, what is the best way for me to be able to serve you? You see, when you can figure out how to stop serving your pay plan and instead serve your client, you will become a lot more effective with the clients that you talk to. Clients will start telling you, once you engage them in conversation, how they want to be sold and what's important to them. You see, once they become confident with you and you've developed a relationship, people still buy cars from people that they like. They will come in and do business with you. They will come in and make appointments with you. They will come in and buy from your store because of the way that you've handled them on the phone. You see, if it's not all about when can you come in to take a look at this car, when can I talk to you about the car you put the lead in on, when can I talk to you about the information you want to receive, that's where the whole process is a great win. By the time they get down to those late funnel lead providers, and all I'm trying to do is shop one dealership versus another to determine where I'm going to buy that car at, my friends, unfortunately, they are sick to death of getting calls from car dealers that only want to try to figure out how to get them in the door. They're sick to death of getting calls from car dealers and emails from car dealers and text messages from car dealers. And they go through their email inbox and it's delete, 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 delete. It's send a voicemail, send a voicemail, send a voicemail. But if instead you now said, hi, I'm calling on behalf of the TrueCar Automotive Buying Program. My name is Brad Smith. I am your TrueCar Auto Buying representative here at Hometown Motors. My job is to make sure that you have the best auto buying experience you've ever had. I understand that you're looking for, and read these leads back to the consumer. They just spent a whole lot of time telling you who they were and what they were looking for. And if you take the time to tell the customer that you know what it is that they want and finish that and say, is that information all still correct? And how can I best help you today? You will start winning over your clients. I hope this has been meaningful for you today. And there's one thing I want you to get in mind. And the reason I want to talk about this topic today, 2 weeks from right now, Thanksgiving weekend is the single busiest lead providing weekend of the entire year. There will be more leads come in that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday than any other time of the year. Are you prepared for that onslaught of leads? Are you prepared for that onslaught of clients? Do you have somebody that can respond to them in a timely manner? Can you meet them where they are? Can you win them over to bring them into your store? And are you prepared to deliver the same in dealership or offline experience that you just provided online? My friends, if you can do this, you will be successful in this internet selling season. Hi, I'm Brad Smith. I'm the original CarSmith. Reach out to me and I'll be glad to be able to give you help, give you more training, and give you the help that you need to work your internet leads. Thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye now.